no, I couldn't disagree more. I have Evander Holyfield ahead 4 rounds to 1 and 1 even.
I see it like that myself, but then I never could have been a good judge. But Riddick Bowe has tasted all of the power Evander Holyfield has now. He's not scared. He realizes that his corner cannot help him. Look, you're a big boy. You got to fight your way out of this, and he's willing to do it.
Bowe going back to sticking the jab, and when he does, he backs Evander up. It was that way last year. It's that way again. Right hand for Holyfield. Stuns Bowe, and Bowe comes back fighting this time and lands a right hand on Holyfield's chin.
Holyfield isn't being smart. He hits a good right hand. He hits him with a good right hand, and he stands there and waits to see what he's going to do. You got to hit and move out of the way if you want to win that kind of style, with that style.
Bowe taking command right now with the jab.
Someone is telling...
And somebody in a parachute has just landed on the edge of the ring, has been pulled away by security guards. The fight has been brought to a halt. There's a massive melee at ringside as this fellow with a motorized parachute has landed right on top of spectators and officials at ringside. He's in the midst of a mass of security guards now. Rock Newman, Riddick Bowe's manager, was right there. This is a monumental disaster. Right now, police are filing by me at ringside and grabbing this gentleman who has created a monstrosity of an interruption in the bout. His parachute has caught itself up on a row of ring lights. Now we're going to take a look at an earlier shot of the parachutist before he came down. There he was on the left of the ring. And let's see what happened as he approached ringside. There it is. He hung himself up right on the lights, as you see there, and his body landed on the ring apron right on top of a variety of people.
This is the most bizarre thing I've ever seen at a prize fight. And I've seen a few bizarre things.
Dangerous about this, it wasn't only a parachute. He's got some motorized
exactly. It's a heavy,
up a lot of people.
It's a heavy capsule under that parachute with a motorized attachment. There could have been a propeller there for all we know, George. And if nobody has been hurt, it will be a near miracle.
I've seen blood on one hand out there.
Rock Newman, Bowe's manager, went nuts. It could be the best thing to happen to Riddick Bowe if there's a 10 or 20 minute delay, as now seems possible.
Right. It may be an angel out of the sky.
You see Bowe covering up to stay warm.
For Riddick Bowe.
Well, they're going to work on his cuts right now.
Just when you think you've seen everything, you know you haven't, and there'll be more crazy stuff to follow.
And it was already a bizarre night as the result of the fighting that went past the bell for about 10 seconds at the end of round 4. Here's what was happening in the ring at the time that the parachutist landed. You'll see, there he is, entering at the left side. And you see people backing away and trying to avoid the capsule and the motorized contraption attached to it. Here's a look at him much, much earlier this evening from our blimp coverage. As this took place, we're told that our blimp cameraman tried to alert us to the possibility that this was going to happen. That's why he was zooming in and out, as you can see here. And there it is. He targeted the ring and came right down. Well, this guy is going to wind up in the Slammer in Vegas tonight, and with doggone good reason.
Well, what charges, I wonder?
Well, what charges?
Yeah.
Doing an outrageous thing to get some publicity for himself.
Oh, okay.
Lighting company turning off lights now to try to prevent the possibility of fire. If Evander Holyfield is thinking about this at all, he has to rue the fact that it happened at a time when he was in such good position in the fight, or so it seemed. And here's another look, guys. We're going to see it one more time. This was incredibly dangerous. I've got to say that it's put a jolt through us because he landed about 7 or 8 feet away from us on the ring apron. And this is how he descended toward the small disaster which has now taken place at ringside in round 7 of a heavyweight championship fight. You can see how our cameraman zoomed in and out, attempting to warn our production people in the truck of the possibility this would happen.
And I have just gotten word that Riddick Bowe's wife has just fainted at ringside. She was even closer to the parachuters than we are.
She's up and around now, but she's awful shaken.
And she is, gentlemen, she's in the early stages of her 4th pregnancy as Riddick looks forward to the birth of his 4th child. And we only hope that Judy will be okay. We're going to stop the action now to take a look back at the effects of what became a 20-minute delay. How did it disturb the momentum of the two fighters? We'll get to that in a moment. But first, a look at how the melee was brought under control eventually by Las Vegas police, only after the parachutist had been momentarily attacked by some at ringside, perhaps a couple of officials, and bystanders and spectators near where he landed. Eventually, the police got the situation under control. They're the ones who informed Riddick Bowe that his wife Judy had fainted. Later, they told him that she was okay, even as they were preparing to take her away to a nearby hospital. George Foreman, I don't think you've ever been a party to a 20-minute delay in a boxing match. How do you think it affected this one? Was there any advantage to either fighter?
All the advantage should have gone to the bigger puncher. He was able to rest himself like a home run hitter. You strike out, but in the next inning you get a home run. Riddick Bowe wasn't able to take advantage of it. The cold weather stopped him from bleeding. It supposedly affects the boxer who's in a rhythm. Evander Holyfield was in this rhythm, but he was able to pick it back up. How he did it, I don't know.
On the other hand, George, Riddick Bowe had to fight 4.5 more rounds with the knowledge in the back of his mind that something bad might have happened to his pregnant wife.
That's right. I remember asking my wife to come to a fight, and she was pregnant with one of the Georges, and she almost boxed me. It's not a place for your family to be around ringside, especially when they're not really boxing fans. They don't know that it's going to be blood. You may get knocked out. They don't understand, and when it happens, you can discourage yourself. You start worrying about them, and that's what happened tonight. Riddick Bowe started worrying about his family.
And for his part, Evander Holyfield told us later that he worried for a while that this would redound to his disadvantage. He began thinking negatively, and it took a special effort on his part to re-energize himself, to be assertive when the fight began again. Larry Merchant, you called it the single most bizarre event you'd ever seen at a boxing match. I don't think there's any reason for you to change your opinion now.
Absolutely not. First of all, of course, sitting here a couple hours after the fight, we have to think of some of the people for whom this was a trauma and may suffer some damage. We hope they're going to be okay. But also, I have a bizarre head sometimes, Jim, and the first thing I thought about was, I've seen guys try to crash fights before, but nothing like this. This wasn't that tough a ticket that if he wanted to see a fight, that he had to come in that way. And secondly, hey, we're in Las Vegas. Down the street, there's a volcano erupting every 30 minutes. Up the street, there are knights jousting for the entertainment of the visitors here. Maybe I thought this is a new way to present boxing to the world. We'll have long intermissions in the middle of the fight, and everybody will get a show whether it's a good fight or not. This just added to a great fight.
And all in all, in retrospect, I think we have to reflect that we were lucky. The human damage from that motor-driven parachute rig could have been much greater than it turned out to be. Meanwhile, there was still a 7th round, which had begun so furiously and now was yet to be completed. As round 7 resumes, 1 minute, 50 seconds remain in the round.
Gentlemen, I thought that Riddick Bowe was showing signs of fatigue before. I have to assume that this is going to help him. What do you think, George?
I think so. The rest always benefit the punches. Like Reggie Jackson, you swing out, you take a rest, come back the next inning and get another home run. But for the boxer, he gets into a groove, and he has to find that groove all over again. So it can be devastating for a boxer to get such a rest.
You'll also note that there is no trickle of blood from Riddick Bowe's nose or his eye. For the moment, those cuts have been closed.
And the cold weather assists that. Once you start, it's hard to bleed in the cold weather.
And here comes Holyfield with some of the same mustard he brought before.
You notice Holyfield is more effective when he doesn't put any power on the punches. Just let the punches flow. He's able to get out of the way easier.
You say, George, he's a more natural punch thrower than Bo.
He is. The combinations come so easily with him. Bo has to wind up, straight, strut, and then throw 1, 2, and look for the guy. Holyfield could get in his mind when he's hit by Riddick Bowe. Listen, it hurts, so get out of the way. For some reason, he convinced himself, oh, that didn't hurt.
As they finish out round 7, up to now, Holyfield has looked much the sharper of the two.
And the combinations are coming real easy now.
Ladies and gentlemen, give yourselves a round of applause.